hey, Ghoulash here, and welcome to another entry of...
The Ghoulog.
It's been a while since my review of the first Addams Family movie. Click this card to watch that vid if you missed it. But let's not get bogged down in playing catch-up. With Thanksgiving's arrival, it's the perfect time to review an often overlooked Thanksgiving film, which also happens to be another Addams Family movie, Addams Family Values, released in November 1993 and directed by Barry Sonnenfeld. Now, this movie doesn't become a Thanksgiving film until like an hour in, but still. A 5-minute Thanksgiving scene near the end of this film alone still makes Addams Family Values one of the best Thanksgiving movies ever made. There's not a lot of competition in the Thanksgiving movie arena. Regardless, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is still the greatest Thanksgiving movie of all time. Agreed. This is my creator, Dr. Wolfula, who usually locks me down here in the basement when his family is over for Thanksgiving. And this year is no different, but I figure, hey, Meredith and my sister are busy cooking the turkey, and the nieces and nephews are watching Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. I might as well check in on you, Ghoulash. You know, you could come down here and pay me a visit. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, well, would you like to join me in reviewing Addams Family Values? Sure, it'll kill some time until the game comes on. Okay, well, the 1991 Addams Family movie was unexpectedly a big hit, making nearly $250 million on a $30 million budget.
It's gonna be great. You're gonna get back all the money I owe you and more. You'll see, really.
So a sequel pretty much had to happen, with nearly the entire cast reprising their roles and Barry Sonnenfeld back as director, even playing a minor role in the film instead of just a brief cameo.
Selma, please leave him alone.
But the original film's writers didn't return. Paul Rudnick was instead the sole credited screenwriter of Addams Family Values, though there were many uncredited writers who pitched in.
These Addams men, where do you find them?
It has to be damp.
According to Angelica Houston's memoir, Paul Rudnick himself conceived of the film's title, Addams Family Values, as a satire of a quote by Dan Quayle, the former U.S. vice president who served alongside George H.W. Bush. Quayle once gave a speech stating that a breakdown in traditional family values were the reason for the riots in Los Angeles, in outrage over the beating of Rodney King by police. Why do movies nowadays have to get so political? Sir, this movie came out nearly 30 years ago. Really? It feels like all this has happened recently. I wonder why. The title, Addams Family Values, calls attention to the fact that the Addams clan has no traditional family values, but they're more functional and loving than most other families.
To passion.
To paradise.
To pain.
Tonight.
Addams Family Values wasn't very valuable at the box office, though. Made on a $47 million budget, it made only $48 million back, a financial disappointment compared to the original, but unlike the original, it received rave reviews at the time, whereas the original film's reviews were positive but more middling.
I seek justice. Denied!
To this day, Addams Family Values is considered to be a sequel better than its predecessor, and I'll explain why I agree with this sentiment in my review. And I'll frequently interrupt Ghoulash in an attempt to derail and ruin this video. Thanks, I guess. Addams Family Values picks up an indeterminate amount of time after the events of the first film. It's hard to say because Morticia reveals that she's pregnant at the end of the first film's 7-month time jump, but she doesn't look pregnant at the start of the second film when she goes into labor, if you can call it that.
My darling, is it torture?
Oui.
So who knows? Addams Family Values could start the same night that the first film ended.
Father, what is it?
It's an Addams.
Initially, the sequel deals with the Addams family welcoming a new child into their home, and it proves to be a most unwelcoming welcome from the older kids, Wednesday and Pugsley. The Addams baby is a completely original character created for the movie, looking like an infant version of his father Gomez, right down to the mustache. But the Addams family's late creator, Charles Addams, did have an influence on this newer character. The baby is named Pubert, which was Charles Addams' originally proposed name for Pugsley on the TV show, which got shot down by the network for being too gross, but nearly 30 years later, it was finally used.
What's his name?
Pubert.
With a name like Pubert, that kid is gonna end up killing himself. Probably why we've never seen Pubert ever again.
Pubert. I like it. It's filthy.
Adding a baby to the Addams family is something that could have gone wrong. It could have made the movie too cutesy and taken away the edge of the series, but no, the movie has some really dark, violent gags involving Pubert's attempted murders at the hands of his older siblings, including just dropping Pubert off the roof, but these prove fruitless. For some reason, Gomez and Morticia are surprised at their oldest children's attempts on Pubert's life.
Do you think that when a new baby arrives, one of the other children has to die?
Yes.
Add this sibling rivalry to Morticia's feeling that she isn't able to find the time to live a life separate from motherhood, and the couple decides to hire a nanny. And another one.
Where is that baby?
Which part?
And another one.
I'll clean my room in exchange for your immortal soul.
I could have sworn the black nanny was here to stay. Eventually, though, the Addams family finds a nanny up for the task. Debbie Jolinsky, played by Joan Cusack, a young blonde dressed in all white, a contrast to the Addams household, who still isn't put off by their macabre lifestyle.
I'm good with my hands.
In reality, though, Debbie is revealed to be a black widow who wants to marry Uncle Fester, who, despite living with his brother's family, is independently wealthy himself, frequently receiving media coverage in the short while he's returned from seeming death.
She's known by the police as a black widow. She mates, and she kills.
The Addams children become suspicious of Debbie's true motivations, so Debbie sends them off to Camp Chippewa while the Black Widow woos the lonely Fester and eventually plans to kill the bald loser for all of his wealth. And that's what true love is all about. Addams Family Values is a huge improvement over the first film simply due to its story structure. The sequel has an A plot and a B plot that eventually converge together by the final act, like you'd find in a sitcom, which is the medium that popularized this franchise after all. The benefit that comes with this efficient, formulaic, tried-and-true sitcom-style plot structure is that it gives each of the characters more room to shine compared to the more straightforward plot of the original, where scenes tended to focus more on Gomez and Morticia ultimately. For instance, Pugsley barely had any dialogue in the original film, but in the sequel, Pugsley actually gets some memorable gags at the camp. Though Christina Ricci's Wednesday is still the main focus in the duo's story of surviving Camp Chippewa.
What's Chippewa?
It's an old Indian word.
It means orphan.
All of the original film's cast members return for the sequel except Judith Malina as Grandmama, who's replaced by Carol Kane, who gets more screen time in the sequel, but she just seems too obvious as a young actress playing an old woman, despite all the makeup.
These terrifying changes are most often the result of a troubled family life.
Like the original film, the story of Addams Family Values is centered around Fester, who weds the evil Debbie, but in this film, Fester isn't an irritable villain for most of the runtime.
Where is it, you ridiculous imbecile?
Christopher Lloyd gets to be full-on Fester this time, and he's fantastic in the role as a hopelessly romantic ghoul.
But with your looks, your charm, women must follow you everywhere.
Store detectives.
Raul Julia and Angelica Houston nailed their roles as Gomez and Morticia the first time around, so the sequel naturally focuses less attention on them this time.
Isn't he a lady killer?
Acquitted.
They're still given some great moments together, but their roles are in service to Fester's plot, not stealing the spotlight. Except for their one show-stopping dance sequence, but even that is in service of contrasting their passion for each other with Fester's and Debbie's less fulfilling relationship. The film is mainly about Fester and Debbie's deadly relationship, but the Camp Chippewa plot is a good companion piece, dealing directly with themes of nonconformity and even racism, with Peter MacNicol and Christine Baranski playing the sickeningly upbeat couple who runs the camp and who favor the, more Aryan-looking campers, and the owners try to force any kids who they consider to be not normal to watch Disney cartoons and engage in conventional children activities, which compels Wednesday and Pugsley to escape this death camp. Addams Family Values is kind of a metaphor for the Holocaust if you think about it. I don't think it is, sir. Think a little harder about it. It's there. Sure it is.
I'm still not sure just how to pronounce this. Jamel? Whatever.
The camp storyline also ties back into the film's romantic themes as Wednesday, against all odds, seems to fall for a nerdy Jewish kid named Joel, played by David Krumholtz.
Do you believe in the existence of evil?
Well, did you meet my mom?
Who likes to read and is frightened of Michael Jackson. I don't blame him. The camp storyline ultimately culminates in a Thanksgiving play.
Eat me! Sauteed or barbecued. Eat me!
The elitist campers are pilgrims, while the misfits play Native Americans, including Wednesday.
We cannot break bread with you.
But she forsakes the embellished tale of unity between the pilgrims and Native Americans she's written to perform, and instead calls attention to the injustices and inequality that happened in reality.
My people will be forced to live in mobile homes, on reservations.
That Thanksgiving is just an excuse to have an indulgent feast with a hollow message behind it.
My people will have pain and degradation. Your people will have stick shifts.
Why do movies nowadays have to be so political? This movie came out 30 years ago. I keep telling you that, sir.
I've decided to scalp you.
The rewritten play soon turns into a bloodbath as a legion of fed-up campers attack the pilgrims and their parents. It's like a PG-13 version of Cannibal Holocaust. Savage as f***. Literally. The main story of the film, though, is Fester's and Debbie's sham marriage, and Joan Cusack is a standout as the villain in the film. A huge improvement over the basic crooks from the first film, running the cliché real estate scam every 90s movie adaptation of a TV show had.
Welcome to my home.
Debbie is the perfect villainous foil for the Addams family. She's a murderous and evil psychopath while also being bright and vibrant, a literal Barbie girl.
Malibu Barbie.
A stark contrast to the somber and dark Addams clan.
But, Debbie, what? Pastels?
Debbie ends up meeting her match in her husband, Fester, and not in the way he hoped. The bastard just won't die.
Buffet.
I sympathize with Debbie. There's somebody in my life that I just can't manage to kill either. You're talking about me, aren't you? It's not all about you, Ghoulash, but yes.
Where's the body?
He's right there.
But he's alive.
Tell me about it.
So in the meantime, while Debbie's trying to figure out how to kill Fester, she ends up trying to change him into someone more tolerable to her, but he ends up looking far more freakish in the process.
Give me a kiss.
Give me 20.
What gets Fester's family involved is, well, they aren't allowed to be involved in his new life.
Go away! That is not my brother.
Sorry.
And it, in a convoluted way, causes Pubert to become sick in the Addams family manner, which actually means normal, healthy, and happy.
Unless Vesta comes back, we're talking dimples.
Not in this house.
Ultimately, after Debbie's final attempt on Fester's life fails, the woman confronts his entire family at gunpoint and prepares to execute them by electrocution.
I don't enjoy hurting anybody. I don't like guns or bombs or electric chairs.
But she makes the literally fatal mistake every villain in her position makes. She monologues her backstory and motivations.
An axe that takes me back.
Which gives the rejuvenated Pubert enough time to save the day by brutally electrocuting Debbie to death. I might be wrong, but I think this may be the first and only depiction of a baby killing somebody in a movie. What about Alien? Oh yeah, never mind. But hey, if you've ever wanted to watch a baby brutally murder somebody, this film has got you covered. You f***ing weirdo. In the wake of Debbie's passing, the Addamses have a get-together on Pubert's first birthday, with Cousin It's family visiting, and I'm honestly surprised Cousin It's child isn't the one called Pubert.
We brought along a guest. This is our new nanny. Dementia.
Just because Debbie is dead, though, that doesn't mean Fester isn't still into getting dome. Wednesday has also seemingly gotten together with her camp boyfriend Joel, but his love is unrequited.
Do you think, like, maybe someday you might want to get married and have kids?
No.
A major theme of the film is that you should be true to yourself. What drew Wednesday to Joel was that he was different from most people she met, and he also wasn't like her family. But Joel's downfall is that he tried to conform to the standards of the Addams family as a duplicate of Gomez, convinced that this is what Wednesday really wanted.
What if you met just the right man who worshipped and adored you, who'd do anything for you, who'd be your devoted slave?
I'd pity him.
True love is what Gomez and Morticia have, something built upon mutual adoration and respect. But you can't respect somebody who kisses your ass. Just doesn't work. Yeah, just look at Oprah and Stedman.
We're all very sorry, Debbie. We wish you only the best.
Addams Family Values is an all-time classic and is the perfect example of what a family film should be. Something that appeals to the entire family, both the kids and adults, not that bullshit half-hearted kind of family movie where it's mainly for kids, but there's some jokes and references thrown in that just the parents will get. The sequel takes everything that was great about the original film and perfects it. I give Addams Family Values 5 Malibu Barbies out of 5.
Malibu Barbie.
Malibu Barbie.
The nightmare.
This turkey is a sight to behold, Meredith. You've outdone yourself this time, honey. I love you too, dear. Hey, can I have some turkey too? You can have whatever's left of the carcass after we've eaten. Well, that's something, I guess. As for you at home, we'd like to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. You f***ing weirdo. This video is made possible through the pledges of Dr. Wolfula's Patreon supporters, and I'd like to give a very special thanks to the kind folks pledged to Doc's Shoutout tier. All the support on Patreon means a lot to me, and it helps my master's dark influence continue to grow. If you like this video, like it, and if you loved it, click the subscribe and bell buttons for more videos. Be sure to also keep in touch by following me on social media at Instagram and Twitter at the Ghoulog. While I still have your attention, consider pledging to my master Dr. Wolfula's Patreon to support the channel and get bonus content like previews, VIP Discord server access, private movie night streams, and credits in videos. Consider pledging at patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula. Also, check out official Ghoulash t-shirts and other merch on tpublic.com/user/Dr. Wolfula. Thanks for watching, see you all next time. You f***ing weirdos.